सर्विया ने कार्डियोमेटाबॉलिक और वेनस रोगों के लिए सिंगल पिल कॉम्बिनेशन प्लेटफॉर्म स्थापित कर भारत में अपनी प्रतिबद्धता मजबूत की। ये पहल भारत फ्रांस सहयोग का एक व्यावहारिक मॉडल है, जिसका उद्देश्य उच्च गुणवत्ता वाली दवाइयां उपलब्ध कराना है। सर्विया वर्ष 2026 में इस प्लेटफॉर्म में लगभग 15 मिलियन यूरो करीब 130 करोड़ रुपए का निवेश करेगा। भारतीय भागीदारों के साथ मिलकर उच्च गुणवत्ता वाले सिंगल पिल कॉम्बिनेशन विकसित किए जाएंगे। इन्हें भारत से उन देशों में निर्यात किया जाएगा जहां मरीजों द्वारा नियमित दवा लेना एक बड़ी चुनौती है। मुंबई, 10 फरवरी 2026। फाउंडेशन द्वारा संचालित स्वतंत्र फ्रांसीसी फार्मास्यूटिकल समूह सर्विया ने भारत में एक वैश्विक प्लेटफॉर्म गेट इन स्थापित करने की घोषणा की है। ये प्लेटफॉर्म भागीदारों के साथ मिलकर कार्डियोमेटाबॉलिक और वेनस रोगों के लिए सिंगल पिल कॉम्बिनेशन के विकास, निर्माण और निर्यात पर काम करेगा। इस प्लेटफॉर्म का लक्ष्य सिंगल पिल कॉम्बिनेशन के माध्यम से उपचार को सरल बनाना है। इससे मरीजों द्वारा दवाइयों के नियमित सेवन में सुधार होगा और लंबे समय में बेहतर परिणाम मिलेंगे। ये पहल सर्विया की 2030 महत्वाकांक्षा का हिस्सा है, जिसके तहत नवाचार को गति देना और मरीजों की जरूरतों के अनुसार समाधान देना शामिल है, खासकर उन गंभीर बीमारियों में जहां दवाइयों का नियमित सेवन एक बड़ी चुनौती बनी हुई है।
So of course we are working on a disruptive and very innovative option, but also we are also working on a more, let's say, incremental approach. And yes, we have been present in the field of CMVD, and what has been said by our distinguished cardiologists resonated very much. Nothing to add. And we felt long time ago at Servier that adherence would be a very good way to tackle this very important burden of the cardiovascular disease. And we launched a number of initiatives to raise the case for adherence. We did that for patients, for healthcare professionals, and we have been among the first also to design these famous single pill combinations. It has been launched in many countries, so you have seen it's very successful. We are convinced that it's very helpful for the patients. And today, with the launch of Scatin, it's a new step. This initiative needs to go further to be able to broaden our offer to patients by benefiting from the excellence that we have in India, from the medical community, but also in terms of pharmaceutical development and manufacturing.
Thank you, Philip. Charlotte, we heard from Philip around adherence and how it requires a different way of thinking, and of course exploring on an everyday basis on what new and innovation can happen. According to you, globally speaking, from a more strategic and transformation perspective, how do you see this translating into an operating model? Also, because we are at the launch of Gatin, we would love to hear from you how Gatin got constituted as a global platform, and why do you see India as the right market for the single pill combination strategy? So there are lots of questions.
A lot of questions in one.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, and warm welcome to everybody. We are really pleased to be here with you all for the launch of this platform. And as you said, there are many questions in your questions, so I will try to take them one by one and maybe just summarize what we have already heard in terms of the context in which we are operating. And if you have one thing to remember, maybe is that Gatin is really Servier response to the global structural shift that we are seeing in global healthcare. It's really the way that we do see it at Servier. And just to summarize what has been said, and has been better said than what I will say in only a few words, but we continue, despite all the drugs that are already available in the world, to see the burden of the CMVD that continues to increase around the globe, and not only in the developed market, but also in emerging markets. So this is the first reality that we are facing. The second one is that there's the challenge of adherence, and it was really well said by the panelists in the room, and also by Philippe just before me. And that the expectation for single pill combination, really driven both by the guidelines but also expectations from the medical communities and the patient, is really something which is long awaited. So what we really want to do at Servier is to ensure that we have this competitive edge in single pill combination, as it was reminded by Philippe, but we are operating in a world which is more and more competitive and where the needs of the patient remain super high. So we have to find the best operating model to answer this need. And it really brings us to an evolution in the way that we operate, the way that we are organized, and we decided to build this integrated and structured platform, which is Getin. And we do believe that with Getin, it really helps and it will really allow our team to be really focused on one goal, one objective, which is to bring a new single pill combination to the patient who need them the most across the globe. This is the first thing. The second thing that Getin will bring and which is unique to our company is to have a team which is fully dedicated and which is integrated from development, CMC, manufacturing and export, and really focusing on that. So this is the second point. And the last point is also to have the opportunity to have a team who can really navigate in two time horizons. The first one, which is to bring really an answer to immediate needs for the patient, but also to build the portfolio of the future for Servier. And I will just repeat what Philippe said. We have a long-term commitment at Servier toward the patient, and it's really what we want to do with Getin, is at the same time bringing an answer to immediate needs, but also to continue to answer to the future needs of the patient. So this is the second part with the operating model. And maybe the last part, why India? I would say, and it was also brought by some of the panelists before me, it's really the combination of the two worlds, so Servier Global and Servier and India, and we saw that it was really the best combo possible. First, in India, the context and what you can bring to the overall thinking is you have brilliant scientists, you have people who are super expert in terms of development, being not only on formulation, bioequivalence and so on, and that we really need this for the single pill combination. This is the first part, but also for the longer term, and what you can also bring at scale in terms of manufacturing, in terms of expertise, in terms of how we can develop fast. Definitely, this is the combination of the two worlds. Something which is of utmost important for us, and where we do believe that India can really be the answer, is also in terms of quality. You have developed more and more CDMOs which are top-notch in terms of quality, and as for us, quality is a non-negotiable. We know that we can also plug into this ecosystem to bring the SPCs of the future.
Thank you, Charlotte. I must tell you, we are equally excited for the launch of Getin, and the teams are working extremely hard to get this ground running. Kshitij, as a leader, India leader for Getin, how do you see Getin being structured and designed to deliver our strategy for the single pill combination?
Thank you, Rashid. Maybe before I answer that question, I would like to tell what is Getin? What does the word stand for? Because somebody was asking me behind, what is Getin in French? Well, Getin is not a French word. Getin stands for Gati, which is speed in our local language. IN is innovation, and you see there's one more N which stands for IN, India. So this is speedy innovation in India, which is Gati. So now coming to your question, Rashid, how do we ensure that we do this speedy innovation in India? We will have a team of around 15 people. Like Charlotte mentioned, they will be people who will be based in India, dedicated to the functions like CMC, R&D, manufacturing, procurement. In India, they will be dedicated. But as we know, we have the expertise in our headquarters. We have the French innovation, as some of our HCPs were saying. So these 13 people, or I would say 13 by the end of this year, they will be working very closely with the people in headquarters to ensure that we use their expertise, their standards, and ensure that we, on the other hand, implement them in India. How do we implement them in India? The model works through partnerships. We have many of our partners over here. I would once again take this opportunity to thank you for being over here. So what we would do is our teams will be working with you to ensure that we implement all this. We are able to develop these drugs. Once these drugs are developed, we register in the various countries, manufacture them here, and then export to the countries and to the patients that need the most. So in a nutshell, how will we work is we will use the French innovation technologies with the Indian implementation and efficiency and speed to ensure that we have the patients benefited as early as possible.
Great. A great example of
So, namaste. It's a great pleasure, honestly, to be here. Happy to hear what is getting. Speed is really at the core of our project. So, just to answer your question, I will start with the geographic scope. Because today, based on the project we already initiated, we expect exports to reach several countries across different geographies, Latin America, Asia, Africa, where we have a burden of CMVD which is quite high and the need for high quality SPC which is extremely strong. So this is important and this is a start, but probably over the time our pipeline will continue to increase and our scope will widen over time. So this is for the geography. In terms of business scale, and today we are just launching this project, and with the visibility we have today, assuming that we will successfully develop and roll out all the projects, we are projecting this platform to reach a global turnover of 500 million euros in 2030 for a product supplied and developed in India. And this is our first perspective, as it's important to say that this is only a very directional, it's an estimation, because we want to continue to further develop our pipeline and again widen the scope of our portfolio. So this for both the geography in terms of business. What's important is to highlight the strategic value of the project, and I'm extremely happy to hear the need, and thank you again for our experts here to share all the need, because there is a strategic value of this project, and behind this there is our ability to expand access to patients across the world of this high quality therapy. Just to come back to your point about the high quality therapies, and potentially in a region where adherence is a key problem, a key issue. So this is our initial objective. Of course, it's everywhere, but let's start to focus on some key countries. And just my last word will be to come back to this GATIN platform, and just to say a few words, highlighting that this GATIN requires first speed, and this is what you were mentioning. It will require agility, and it will require a cost-efficient structure, and this is for our organization, with a non-negotiable, that will be the quality, because it's what really patients deserve. So we are currently with GATIN building a strong capability in India in order to serve the patient needs worldwide.
Thank you, Stefan, for answering all the questions. We also heard from other markets in similar lines of the demand that we create in many markets where the exports will go. So thank you so much. Shifting gears from an India perspective, and question to my boss, Aurelia. Aurelia, as a Survey India leader.
So we've been for 40 years in India with a main focus that was on cardio-metabolism, venous disease area, and with molecules and medicines that we have brought to the country. Through that, we have developed very strong collaboration with the healthcare fraternities and some distinguished colleagues that are here around the table, and thank you very much to have shared your thoughts around this project. But we have also understood needs of patients, all that along the development of our capabilities in the country. So for Servier in India, we are also moving towards bringing new innovations in India. That's the launch of our oncology portfolio over the last few years, in few months almost. Some of you may know, we had a discussion around it. We have recently launched Voranigo, which is an oncology product for brain glioma, type of cancer that had not seen any innovation for 25 years, and that Voranigo is a true revolution, changing entirely the perspective of life for these patients. But coming back to your question, sorry, I'm getting excited about it. Okay. Coming back to your questions, all that's been on the backbone of cardio-metabolism disease, along with our partners that we've been always bringing molecules in the country, and through our partners manufacturing in and then in India. So having Getin is a, I think, shift for Servier in India and shift for Servier as a group, building expertise in development, in manufacturing, in quality, not only in the kind of a historical, classical network of factories that we have, but also where it exists in the world, and that is in India, and this is why we're here today and launching officially with Getin. But I think that's going to have also a positive kind of back effect for Servier in India. Through our colleagues of Getin, we'll be able to mutualize expertise, mutualize understanding, mutualize the quality of what we work as a group in India. And therefore, I think India was a market for Servier. Now India is becoming a hub for Servier, and that opens many perspectives for Servier as a group in India, and how India can build and grow further in the group. Some ideas, for instance, could be to have global clinical trials run in India to benefit about investigators and their quality, but also to have diversity of profiles of Indian patients in these global clinical trials. From there, and potentially one day we will realize that Getin was the first stone of having a proper global capability center in India to work on innovation. And then what I'm personally keen on, very motivated by, is to support and work with academics, biotechs in India, in order that we can be the first company when biotech is going to have some new products, pure innovation coming from India in the future, and that we're going to be the first company they're going to go to in order that we can further support them. So, in a way, this is a 40 years journey. This marks an important milestone for Servier in India as a group, and I think there's still much to come in the future.
Thank you, Aurelia. Always very passionate.
So we will develop these single pill combinations along with partners. Then once these drugs are developed and once they are registered in other countries, yes, they will be manufactured, and preferably the manufacturing will be with the same partner who would have developed the drug. That is the kind of the model that we would be intending to. Now if your question is regarding the investment, see, at this point of time, in the first year, the drug development will be funded by our headquarters. And for year one, we have a budget of close to 15 million euros, which we will be putting in for the development and for putting in the structure. Then in the years to come, that will depend upon how the number of projects increase. So yes, our model will be to have this investment over here, to develop, once developed, to manufacture over here with the partners and export from here to the various countries.
So one second question. In India, we already have a lot of single pill combinations marketed by different Indian companies. So you will be developing this in India, and do you have to do clinical trials if you have to register in other countries, or how does it?
A very good question into this. See, we might have a drug which is available in India, but that may require certain amount of, say, bioequivalence studies, maybe for another country if there is another comparator which is available. In that case, we will have to do the necessary studies in India. Now, sometimes what we are also looking at is, say, drugs which provide incremental innovation. So that means moving forward, we might have a single pill combination which may not be present in India as well. So we would like to do a development in that direction, and that single pill combination would be for the benefit of India as well as for the patients worldwide. So the intention is keeping that in mind, keeping the patient's needs, like what has been said. What we are looking at is the patient's needs. Depending on what the patient's needs is globally, we will do the development in India, depending upon what is the need for registration in the various countries. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. Thank you.
We will have the media Q&A right after this session.
First, I'm very happy that the global group has considered India into this. And it goes without saying that India has an excellent infrastructure pharmaceutical ecosystem. I mean, there are other companies who are already over here. Servier India has also developed some drugs for the local domestic market. Now, why India specifically? Because it has the necessary infrastructure. Quality is improving. India is able to do now things which are meeting all global standards, whether it's USFDA, EMA. We are very happy to hear that from a global perspective. And like what Charlotte mentioned, quality is non-negotiable. So when we hear at a global level that yes, we are in India, we can do things first at an efficiency. Stefan mentioned about cost efficiency, yes, but it's an efficiency along with cost, which is an advantage with quality. So when you have efficiency, quality, speed, costs, everything put together. And then when we hear about the deals with the EU-India deal being signed, which again shows the importance that our country, India, is getting over here. So India then became an obvious choice.
Right, just one more quick one before I pass on the mic is that, what kind of criteria did you use to select your partners in India? And will their role be restricted to manufacturing only?
What kind of, maybe our first question first, what kind of criteria? So we have a very rigorous selection criteria that we follow in headquarters. And those criteria, which we are having our global criteria, will be will be used everywhere, which includes, of course, the different technologies, which also includes the quality, even CSR, environmental care. So there are a number of criteria, which I won't go into detail, but just to ensure that whether a partner is selected in India or in Europe or anywhere, is the same criteria moving forward that will be followed. That was the first one. Regarding the second question, if I catch well, regarding manufacturing, the roles will be related to development first, development and manufacturing, but under the guidance of our headquarter teams. So like what we mentioned, we will have the people who are based over here, who will be linked with our global partners, along with the global colleagues, and with the partners, we will ensure that we do the development and the manufacturing with the partners.
Thank you, Kshitij.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kshitij.